Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to another game. This game is special. I upload a video every day and try and implement as much variety from the community games to the pro games, from team games to 1v1s, and then, of course, the map pool as well. We try and mix it up. Well, this game has everything. This game is extremely special. I think I will look back at this one for years to come, so thank you for being here with me for it. We've got 1v1 Arabia game between two high-level players. In the blue, we have MBL. If you know the pro scene, probably know him. He would be considered the favorite just because of his reputation here. He's playing as the Malians. And then on the other side, we have a classic Civilization in the Aztecs for a player called Hope, who's doing really, really well these days. The rating at the time these two played is at the bottom right, if that number means anything to you. The fact that Hope, is within a couple wins away from MBL at this point in time says how good Hope is. Hope is a Vietnamese player, and MBL, of course, is from Norway. Now, Map Arabia is all about adaptability, right? This is the map that most pros play the most. I would say if there was an issue with Arabia, it would just be that it could be somewhat repetitive, right? So if you see a, if you watch 100 Arabia games, especially at the high level, it might come out being relatively similar from time to time. The thing is, though, there's so many different elements to the map. There's so much adaptability that's needed, and that's why people play it. And then in the blue, we have MBL, who's not really known as your typical player in terms of the meta. Now, this is not to say that he can't do that, but in this game, there's just going to be some moments where certain things that aren't the meta, maybe on paper click for MBL, and he said, let's give it a shot. So just briefly, I want to break down the civilizations here. Malians, they save 15% on wood for every building that they build. So that is I consider them extremely flexible for that reason. And then big things as far as their units go. They do have fantastic infantry, notably the high Pierce armor infantry. So if you wanted to go against archers, for example, with infantry, Malians would be one of the best civs. They do have pretty strong knights as well. And then Hope. Aztecs, again, said at the start, they've been around a long time. They start with more gold, which is notable. They do produce military units a little bit faster, and then their villagers also have a greater carry capacity. And I would actually say those are the three things that really make them strong these days. But then later on, it's all about their infantry and their eagles or their jags or their skirmishers. And, man, I got to tell you, don't want to spoil too much. Many of the things I just mentioned will be taken advantage of in this game. Again, it's really special. Now, I want to do something I used to do in the past. So I don't know if you guys would like more of this. You can let me know in the comments. But, when I was learning to cast, right? Or when I just started off casting, I would always introduce the game as such. I would say, such and such players in this color playing as the Civ, such and such colors in this color playing as the Civ, kind of like I just did, but I didn't know the specifics. And then I'd say, let's look at the maps. Here we have the main gold from yellow. That's rather forward. That could be an issue. And then he's got the second gold here, and then he's got the third gold here. I'd kind of do that. But, I don't do that these days for many reasons. But one of the reasons could be because people are being aggressive. And look at that. Hope actually kills a villager on the wood line there. So that eagle took a risk, right? Now, eagles are stronger in Dark Age than the scout, so you've got a better chance at doing that, especially with the hill bonus there. But Hope tosses away a villager now, and now Hope will not have vision on what MBL is doing. Now, small side note, did see the barracks. So seeing the barracks before you go down, not too bad there if you're that eagle. And that puts Hope off to a good start here. But yeah, back to what I was saying. It's I would kind of break down where certain resources were. But I think it's important to note that Hope's got a pretty good situation in terms of these back resources here. There's also this neutral gold. Now, this doesn't always generate in a player's corner, but the front of his base, very open. Front of MBL's base, very bad if he were to lose this, right? This gold's underneath the hill, stone. So, again, as players fight for map control, access to gold and stone going to be the biggest thing here. So, now, the nice thing for Hope is that, and I'm repeating myself here, he at least knows that MBL has added the barracks. Now, that timing on the barracks should tell someone at this level that the opponent is going for men-at-arms. Could be, you know, maybe MBL stays in Dark Age and just makes the militia. But either way, you're going to see the barracks utilized because it was so early. Now, MBL killed the eagle, feeling great because he's got a scout, but he pushed in a lot of deer. So he wants to have the additional food, and that's all well and good, but he doesn't know where the opponent is right now. So now he comes forward to find the opponent, and, you know, he needs a target, right? He needs a target to attack with this. So we've got both players opening up with infantry, and MBL now sees that Hope is going for the militia. Now, militia for Hope will also know that they've been spotted, and Hope has to decide on what he does here. And these guys are just trucking forward to start off this game. I do want to say, small little side note, thank you guys for the love and support. Recording this before I go home to see some family. I highly encourage you guys, give your mom, give your dad a call. They're still in your lives, give them a call. This is a nice little reminder. I'll remind you at the end of the game as well. I'm going home to see my family, and let's be honest, I should be spending more time with them. So I'm excited to do that. But I always enjoy my little recording sessions before a trip away. So this is interesting from MBL. So we actually looked at Hope's perspective. He sees the tower. And he's probably so confused. Like, what on earth? Why is he making a tower there? Well, MBL's making a tower because it's near his golds. And it's near his wood. So he feels like the tower actually protects both things from the man-at-arms. And he doesn't have to quick wall or do any of that. Again, Hope's perspective, he was expecting something here. And he hasn't seen anything. You know, MBL's scout kind of just ran on by. Hope runs in. Got close to the tower. And it's very silent here at the moment, isn't it, right? It's like almost too silent. And then MBL comes in out of nowhere. And all of a sudden, Hope losing that eagle, losing that scout in the Dark Age comes back to haunt him. Meanwhile, MBL's defending. Hope's obviously reacting to this, and Hope loses a villager as well. And so I wanted to show you guys that with the Fog of War, because MBL did such a great job there, taking advantage of the fact that he had a scout. So he saw the militia coming in ahead of time and could prep some form of defense. And then also, of course, he took advantage of the fact that Hope did not have a scout by surprising him. So that's just like, honestly, that moment right there, that's the type of stuff that gets me excited about Age. Like, that was just beautiful. And now this whole lumber camp is useless. Hope can't send any army out there. But Hope is just going to relocate here for now. And Hope will wait to bring some archers over. The villagers here are walled in. Actually, I think there's a hole here that will need to be dealt with. MBL notices the hole. MBL's attacking. Hope has to react and just messy stuff. So much action happening right now. Another villager goes down. But MBL's also getting pushed back by eagles on this side. So lots of multitasking needed. And now MBL loses his scout. So I want to show you something, guys. Look bottom left. Look at resources collected. Isn't that crazy? At this point, of course, MBL, he's up a vill. Only has been recently, but Hope was leaving resources like crazy. He lost more villagers than MBL and still more resources collected. That's because of that Aztec eco. The Hope takes engagement. Keep in mind, he never got man-at-arms, and now MBL's got a great position. 9-2 KD. He's got archers, and he's got a similar count of archers. He actually has more archers than Hope, and he has the man-at-arms. So, like, this is a situation where you're watching this game, and you're instantly like, this isn't looking too good for Hope, T90. What can this game possibly turn into? MBL's going to get fletching before Hope, but Hope's micro is really good. These are Malian man-at-arms, so they do have a little bit more armor. But that's a lot of archers, and Hope's micro has been really good here. He tosses in the occasional eagle to distract. Here we have Archer v Archer. Yeah, Hope, with his gold being forward, he absolutely needs to hold map control here. And his micro has kept him in this. Nice job from him. Without better micro there, this could have snowballed on him easily. This still could snowball on him easily. And of course, what we don't look at that the players are doing is adding eco. So there's 8 farms here. MBL's only on 6. He actually was really heavy on berries initially. So things are pretty sloppy for his eco. I hope has done more of like a, I'd say a meta balance and how this is played. The farming timing, the amount on berries. MBL had like 8. on berries. The tower as well for MBL is an interesting one, right? Because later on, even now, this tower doesn't really protect this gold. But MBL's always been a player who is fairly adaptive. Hope drops the range, stands on the hill. MBL didn't know he was waiting there. A nice shot from Hope to stabilize. Now, if you really think you're behind, what you'll see players do is they're going to sell their stone. So especially when they're going archers, because you're already sending a lot on gold anyways. You sell your stone to get more gold, and then you buy food so you can get to Castle Age quickly. Try and win with that Castle Age timing. And I think, like, if Hope lacked confidence against a better player, kind of like I would, right? I would definitely try and hit that timing here. But, I mean, you wouldn't know. Like, if I wouldn't have introduced it as I did, you really wouldn't know that, you know, Hope is up against... Or Hope is considered to be such an underdog in this particular matchup. Hope has played really good. Does sell his stone, buys some food. Remember, it was 9-2 KD at one point. And now this game starts to get fun because MBL, maybe realizing he needs a little bit more than just his own archers. I think he also may have seen the score for Hope. MBL's always looking at that score. The score will dip when someone clicks up to the next stage because they lose 1,000 resources, essentially. If you look for it here in a second, you'll see it. But I think MBL sensed that his opponent's going to be up. And he's thinking, okay, I need to stay in Feudal Age then. But sometimes just basing it on the score, right, which is such a unique thing for Age of Empires, or just for gaming in general. But, yeah, I think basing decisions on the score is not necessarily the right play. That's something I've always struggled with. If it's like a fast Imperial Age war, then it's like a pretty significant dip. Because it's 1,800 resources. But okay, now Hope clicks up. The score is now about 300 or 400 below MBL, which would maybe explain it. MBL clicks supplies, which makes the food... gives there a bit of a food discount to the militia line. And again, Malians also have... that +1 Pierce Armor per age, plus he researched armor here. So now these things are at 3 Pierce Armor. Archers still do 5 damage. Or sorry, they do 5 damage, you know, of course against the Man-at-Arms. The 3 armor means it's 2 damage a hit for the archers. So this could be dangerous. Hope's still 2 minutes away from clicking up. And this is not really a fight that he wants to take, but he might have to. Now, MBL is going to advance up the hill. The Man-at-Arms just tanking some shots. They'll definitely take care of the Eagles. Good patient micro from MBL. He isn't forcing it. He's gone back and forth while the Man-at-Arms are chewing up from the front. Hope is panicking. This is all falling apart on Hope here. And you need gold as the Aztecs here, right? The army he's trying to go for, Eagles and Archers, you need gold. That's before we even talk about the Aztec monks. And so, MBL, I'd say in some ways his attacks paid off, but things get really interesting now. Remember earlier on in the game when MBL saw an army was coming forward from the opponent and just kind of, he defended at home and with what he could and then counterattacked? Hope realizes, I can't just react here. If I react to this, I'm dead. I need to go punch him as quickly as I can, and so he goes forward. Uses the market a lot, but he's going to have Bodkin Arrow and Crossbow on the way. MBL hasn't clicked up to the next stage yet. And MBL, he's expected this, so he's built another tower because he's been mining stone. And Hope shows up. He sees this tower, and it's decision-making time, and he decides, you know what? That's his main gold. If I sit underneath the tower, that is still something. So he's going to sit there for now. Now, the reason he was able to do this is because he did a couple key things. First off, he walled this off, and he shifted all of his wood and gold eco to the left. He thought, okay, I don't need this gold. I can actually go to this gold. So he just immediately shifted, which was really smart thinking and really good awareness. MBL still isn't clicked up to Castle Age. Doesn't actually have the gold for it, funnily enough. And there's not a lot keeping Hope underneath that tower. He moves along. MBL still isn't clicked up. This game is incredibly messy. And Hope, with crossbows and with the Scorpion, able to push all this away. Like, MBL's army isn't able to find the damage that he wants now. And it's going to be really tough for him to break Hope. A lot of people get broken there. A lot of people are too stubborn. They maybe try and drop a tower. Well, I guess he didn't have the stone, but Hope, the immediate counterattack was epic. It was also rather epic that MBL knew it was coming because he didn't see the army and you know, prep the towers. But a fun game here, right? Like, again, I preface this with, this is a unique Arabia game. This is not something you see all the time. But here's the deal. Like, MBL's still got a pretty solid army. If he can get that upgraded in 2 minutes, he's going to be in a really nice spot. Here he comes and he encounters the army from Hope. But, like, Hope's army is weak here. And he got a little too close to MBL, not knowing he'd be there. He can use his range, but MBL just still dodging the shots. And MBL worried about this woodline is going to drop another tower. But, so the Malians get +1 Pierce Armor per age, right? So you're going to get an additional Pierce Armor in a minute, which is so nice against these archers. And then he can get Longsword, and then he can research armor at the blacksmith too. So this whole idea, if MBL can upgrade all this, it's going to be insane. The real issue, I'd say, for MBL is even though he's killed a couple villagers, Hope is on 2 town centers. Again, this guy is an amazing player. Like, he's doing all the things the best names do. He is going to be expanding that eco. And, you know, MBL right now isn't able to do much damage to it. Here comes MBL, hoping to do damage. But I don't think he was even expecting Hope to be this good. Loses 3 archers to the TC. Now, of course, knows the TC is there. And Hope still with 13 crossbows, still moving around. And even though he sees these towers from MBL, he's killed a couple of villagers, and he's forcing those towers down. Those towers could be offensive towers. Those towers could be castles, town centers. So your opponent towering up isn't necessarily the worst thing in this situation. Hope has pulled ahead of villagers. MBL, though, researching those infantry upgrades. We see TC number 3 now for Hope on stone. Hasn't mined any stone this game. And that stone's going to be such a big deal for him. If MBL goes all in, usually what you want is you want a defensive castle against that. And this definitely feels like this is going to be some type of a YOLO play from MBL. I mean, he's got massive army now. And so he's getting Longsword, which will upgrade these guys. Plus, he's got crossbows. So it's 18 crossbows for Hope. It's 21 crossbows for MBL. Plus, MBL has the Longswords. MBL does have 2 groups. He runs in with this group. There's another TC now. So this tells MBL he's on 3 TCs. He has a villager lead. So MBL has to kill. He has to punish in some way. So the left side, he kind of ran over here. He's also going to see that relic, see that gold there. That's such a nice back area for Hope. And then he comes in on this side. Now, Hope doesn't have a ton to defend this right now. And the longswords are going to take out buildings pretty quickly. So I just love how MBL and Hope's done the same in this game. It's like, if players aren't finding immediate kills, they're going to sit in a spot that's really frustrating for the opponent. And the Scorpion and the crossbows are going for this here. Now Hope has to be careful. Scorpion could be focused down by the crossbows. It does get focused down. Hope is struggling a little bit. Meanwhile, MBL sends more crossbows this way. And MBL's investing so much into military right now. MBL's even going to research arson. So I think it's infantry +2 damage against buildings. Actually, it might not be +2. It might be like +3. It's one of those two. Someone in the comments can correct me, but basically, infantry burns down faster. Sorry, not infantry don't burn down, but infantry tear down buildings faster. And so this has been a great game because while MBL has taken out all these buildings, and I think it's a really good play for him, also side bonus is his opponent gets population capped. I love it when that happens. His opponent, all 3 TCs are not going to be able to produce. The range can't produce. Like, he's fully pop locked because MBL took out those houses. But anyways, Hope is planning for a castle, guys. Like, MBL's still 1 town center. His eco is very open. It's been a very messy game. MBL's going full military. He's going for ballistics for the crossbows, meaning he'll win any crossbow war. He's getting armor now for the longswords. Like, crazy investment for MBL. But that is one too many Scorpions for him. Before, it was just one Scorpion. It was fine. And MBL's got to be worried here. Now, Hope's going to drop a castle here. This is a castle that I thought a lot about because I've watched this game. And it's a castle you place when you know that things could get bad for you. He does advance a little too far forward here with these Scorpions. And look at these longswords, guys. At 5 Pierce Armor and Castle Age, wrecking all the Scorpions, helping against the crossbows. And that is why we didn't see a castle out here, for example. But it's going to give Hope some hope. And it's going to give him a form of infantry that I personally was quite obsessed with when I was around like 8 years old. I used to think these things were the most badass unit in the game. I also used to think Garland Wars was the best tech in the game because it gives you +4 attack. And I was all about the attack. Not sure your experience is there. I know a lot of people loved Cataphracts, Longbows, Teutonic Knights. For me, it was the Jag as well. And the nice thing is, they produce relatively quickly. And they are just better than a longsword. The only thing they're not better than would be up against archers. And that is largely due to the fact that we have Malian longswords here for MBL. Otherwise, if it's Jaguar versus longsword and Castle Age, the Jags destroy. But look at what these longswords have done. MBL just continues to come in with so much military. He's just everywhere. And he's going to see these Jags now. But still, remember villagers. Even just like the farming setup, everything's still looking pretty good for Hope. Is the idle time high? Absolutely. But does he have enough to hold here? He absolutely does. MBL, this is all one town center economy. This game has been crazy. He's got a siege workshop now. He wants to push. It is just pedal to the metal from MBL, trying to completely surround the opponent. But, you know, you look back here, there's gold available. There's wood, there's stone. Like, Hope might not have his main gold, but he's still been able to make things happen. One big mistake from MBL. If he were to lose his big group of crossbows, for example, then suddenly the Jags could dominate for Hope. But yeah, it is still unlikely Hope can take good engagements if the crossbows are there. Crossbows are key. But, like, just amazing that Hope's been able to expand his eco like this under so much pressure. He does get hit there by MBL. But almost a 20 villager lead. Now, Hope realizes after losing his mangonel there, he might not win any more engagements here, right? And he feels like, okay, if I've got gold in the back, I just need another castle. I need to hold here. MBL lands some incredible shots. He then has longswords here. He has crossbows. He has his own siege. And he wants to deny this castle. If he denies the castle, he'll probably win the game. Because then the vill count will be even. And MBL's economy is not as idle, but the castle goes up. And Hope is still alive. Barely. MBL's done such a great job this game. He's killed 30 villagers now. And he's just taking good engagement after good engagement. But now, you have two... You've basically, as a player, if you have the edge with military, you always have different lines of thinking, right? But generally speaking, it's like, you get the edge with military, then you say, okay, I need to focus on my economy. Or... if there's possibly a next step for you, you then go to that next step with military, right? Like that next unit type, that next upgrade. At this point, MBL's got 73 villagers. Like, he could probably do a mix of both. But MBL's beginning to realize that he has his opponent surrounded, right? And if Hope were to stay here, Hope would still be able to fight, like, for a long time. He's got gold, right? But if Hope were to stay here forever, he would eventually run out. MBL's looking at his main gold. MBL's got units patrolling around his wood line. And he's just like, let me in, you know. But, like, he can't get through because of the wood wall and because of the double castle. He also doesn't really know what's going on back there. But you have to punish your opponent for not, for not having map control, right? That's what MBL's going to try and do here with the siege push. He could still hit this TC and he moves out. And all of a sudden, he gets shocked. He gets surprised. And he's probably like, whoa. Hope is making more Jags. That's right, guys. Castle Age Jags. Here we go. 10 base attack. 4 pierce armor. The crossbows are doing 3 damage a hit, which is a problem. Siege is definitely going to need to hit some shots here for your Hope. Hope is reacting here because MBL is trying to run through. Hope with a quick gate. House walls. And MBL's still like, you know what? I think I can stand here, though. So he should just being such a pest here. Even snipes the monk there. Meanwhile here, Hope's still trying to defend. Hope still with 3 town centers. Actually 4 town centers now to produce vills out of, so if he takes losses, he should be okay. MBL makes it through somehow. And also MBL snipes the siege over here with longswords. This game is crazy. But this is going to die for MBL. Jags are no joke. And that farm eco right now is no joke for Hope. And so MBL, he put his pedal to the metal. He thought, I'm going to siege push the TC. I'm going to run through. I'm going to just make more army. It's going to work. Well, right now, I don't know. He might not realize how good Hope's economy is, but I mean, MBL's playing wide open. 15 villagers in queue, by the way. He could almost cancel some of those and go up to the Imperial Age, but Hope is still not broken. Guys, I wasn't lying to you, right? We've had infantry galore. We've had all types of techs. We've got a boomer against an aggressive player. And now, MBL says, fine. All right, I can't push you. I'm just going to fortify up then. And he's going to drop some towers here to secure this gold, to make sure that Hope can never escape. I'm noticing the Jags are actually pretty speedy as well. Like, compared to a crossbow, they're actually a little bit faster than crossbow, which has become a bit of an issue here for MBL. It's not something that you actually see that frequently. Crossbow against Jags, like, usually you're not going to go Jags if the opponent has crossbows because of the threat of Imp. But it has made sense for Hope to make as much as he has here. I do feel like maybe, like, the other argument would be just go up to Imp first, right? Because it is food and gold to make them. The only gold income for Hope is the gold here. He's got 1,100 gold remaining. He does have the relics as well, which is bringing him in some gold. And Hope right now, he's going to make a play. He's going to try and escape. There is a gold in this corner, and he's making a run for it. And MBL, who wants to surround him, does not know that Hope is escaping here. He wants another tower. He thinks if he can hold Hope in, Hope will have no hope. The Jags are eating the longswords. The crossbows are here to help, though. Good micro from MBL. If the tower goes up, could be in a good spot. Tower's likely to go up, and there's more towers going up over here. We've got boom, boom, boom. Towers going up everywhere. Keep in mind, MBL's got ballistics. And there's nothing to really take out towers right now for Hope. I'd say, in general, everything has been fantastic from MBL and Hope this game. It's very hard for me to be critical. It's just an amazing game. One thing I'll say. MBL is going to regret not seeing these villagers. That is so much more gold than he thinks his opponent has available. There's 2,400 gold there. And, like, he made a whole line here, so he will ever know if his opponent goes this way to that gold. He's even going to steal his opponent's gold. MBL is going to be one of the rare situations where he actually sees the entirety of his opponent's eco. Well, of course, we know not the entirety, but the majority of it, right? Very rarely do you see the edge of the map on both sides. This is sick. MBL getting hit here by the mangonels. Nice repairs there from Hope. MBL realizes. Into the tower he goes. Hope has to back away. Hope is actually going to lose the monastery here. Such a crazy thing happening. To lose this monastery means he misses out on that gold income from the relics. MBL's behind by 30 vills. He's killed 60, though. Hope might even run out of trees at this point because he can't take these trees now because MBL's towered it. MBL still in Castle Age, guys. He has not gone up to Imp. He's still spending his food and spending his gold on longswords. Has to be careful, of course, because if these become Imperial Age upgraded Jaguar warriors, these Jags will do better against the crossbows then. And that's been the weakness. The longswords have not been a problem. Jags could, in theory, take out the towers pretty quickly as well. But look at this. MBL knocking on the door. He is 70 military right now. 70 military, and it's only 25 for Hope. But Hope has 2 castles. The castles have gotten a couple kills. Would have been really helpful to have ballistics, honestly. And he's going for Imp armor. So in 30 seconds, he'll feel like taking a fight. He's actually dropping a tower back here. He's dropping new TCs. He refuses to quit, especially because he has all this eco over here. MBL does not know about that. And MBL is like, fine, you're not going to deal with me. I'm just gonna punish you nonstop. Look at this. There are towers everywhere. This is insane. But the armor's in. So now it's 6 pierce armor. The crossbows do 7 damage. Right? They have 5 plus 2. So it is 1 damage a hit from the crossbow. That's a little more than that from the longswords. But still, man, these Jags, they're the better form of infantry. And guys, we've got a Treb here. We'll see if Hope can keep that Treb alive. MBL's going to snipe that. These Trebs are going for these towers over here. Hope still feels like I can't fight this right now. This is just... you're just not going to see a game like this that frequently, right? This takes me back to the messiness and the scrappiness of old Age of Empires 2. Like 10 years ago when I started casting. This game has been incredible. It's been open. It's been aggressive. We've seen so many different types of units. Nice defense from Hope. He keeps his Treb alive. He can take more towers. He could maybe get gold. He is getting ballistics for his towers and his castles now. He is still in a position to win this game, which is crazy. But, like, sure, he's taken losses, but he's just, like, one big fight. Now, if you were to see MBL hit Imp, if you were to see that notification right now, I guarantee he takes the fight. But he doesn't want to take the fight because he wants the biggest mass he can get while MBL's still maxed in Castle Age. These towers, though, it looked just so freaking sick. Like, you're never getting those relics back. And over here, as MBL's lost a couple towers, he's actually just made a couple more. He's actually sending in rams right now. And trying to take the... The Treb is opening the gate. He's... Oh, don't tell me he's going to get that Treb. Jags was still waiting on the hill, and Hope buys a castle, and he's going to castle drop MBL, and MBL's probably like, huh? I thought I had him surrounded. That's going to make things even more chaotic. Pretty hilarious what happened here with the Treb. Hope's going to keep that Treb alive. And this Treb, I mean, it's going to take so long to take out the towers, and you look away for 1 second, your Treb's going to be exposed. Oh, man. But, I mean, I like how Hope went for Bracer. Bracer and Ballistics on the castles has done a lot for him here. His castle moments ago had 5 kills and now has 28. Guys, MBL still has not clicked up to the Imperial Age. And now he will lose some of these towers. And there could be some random Jags running into his eco. Finally, we'll get to hear the clang-a-lang from the Jags as they engage against the longswords. Here we go. There's the clang-a-lang. MBL wants to take out that tower, which he'll do, but at a cost. Remember, no relics for MBL. Full map control. But he loses those longswords. The population's now even. MBL immediately outposting and checking this area. And realizes his opponent has had a TC here. So he's trying to focus on that. And now the Jags, like in some crazy tower defense scenario, are trying to push through this. Meanwhile, villagers are looking for more wood, and there they go for wood because Hope is completely out of wood at this point. But he still has his castles. He could take a couple trees here. And he goes here. Now, I'm on MBL's point of view, by the way. I'm not... Yeah, like, you thought I just had all visible. No, I'm on MBL's point of view. And Hope is officially out of gold. Hope's TC. We'll see if it stays up. He does have... Oh, sorry, wood here is something he was obviously doing. Hope now needs to make a run for it. He needs to get some damage in against MBL. I think that's the main thing. He hasn't been able to do in so long. And so he's going to run this way. MBL sees him. I think MBL saw the wood. And so he figured he has to go. He has to deny that. Still in Castle Age. 50 crossbows for MBL. It's a lot of crossbows, but they won't be upgraded. And the Jags, they're only up against 2 towers here. Hope has picked the right position. Now he's going to try and run for it now. He doesn't even know how bad this is yet. He clicked his idols. I think he's trying to make a run for it. Not realizing the line of towers. He probably figured, I'll get a couple through. Nope. Actually, that's not true. A couple of villagers will go through. Over here, though, it's a slaughter. Meanwhile, TC went down. MBL's gonna try and deny that gold still. Hope's gonna head over to that. He's now gonna farm underneath his castles. It's actually pretty sick. Farm underneath your castles is the right play as you're chasing MBL back into his eco. And these villagers from Hope, They're like, hey, come over here. Come over here. We found some. Come over here, guys. They can't fight back. But the Jags are coming to get their raid on now. Love this from MBL, though. Set a couple crossbows in different groups. Set this here. Set these guys here. Add these units over here. These guys are walking. They're trying to jump off the edge of the map. They're trying to walk the plank right now. That's funny. But leave a comment if you enjoy that. But, I mean, the Jags. The Jags are genuinely an issue for these crossbows. They're eating MBL up. There's still more villagers for Hope. Like, Hope is back on gold now, and there's not much remaining, but still, it's gold. And MBL is never going to make it to the Imperial Age at this point. As Hope just figures, might as well, since MBL's distracted, just try and kill these crossbows with my villagers. A crazy, crazy game. Can Hope afford to make more Jags? That is the big thing now. MBL continues to pressure this gold. Even though the crossbows aren't doing a lot of damage, it's still something. He's still got big groups. He's still got long swords on the front. Like this. This is crazy. It looks like the Jags are so strong. But Hope can't make more of them necessarily. This is Hope losing more farms as well as MBL encroaches upon that territory. Can't finish that gold. MBL has towers all around him now. And Hope is sitting here with 31 on food, 2 on gold. I'm not even sure who those 2 are. I think it might have been 2 that were here that were leaving. And he's got 5 army. And he's probably just like, well, crap. What do I do? Great question. I'm not sure what to suggest. MBL's going to lose a couple of vills. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to suggest to you here, man, because it feels like if you attack MBL, he's got TCs or towers. You need golds. These villagers are running all around. I think they're weaving their way this way to maybe get back to the trees. Oh, Hope made a new TC. Hope is crazy, man. He made a new TC, hoping he could still survive. MBL finds that, though, and MBL continues to outpost around. Like, at this point, I think MBL realizes, okay, this guy's sneaky. But he kills the vills. He'll take the TC. He sees the vills here as well. I am still on MBL's point of view, by the way. Still on his perspective, his fog of war. He could see all of this because these are his buildings, and he even researched town patrol. MBL is simply denied every single resource right now. I hope is not wanted to give up. I mean, what a great name, right? What's the opposite of hope? I would say lack of hope. I'm making a fool of myself here, and I'm not going to re-record this. A lack of hope would be, well, I can't think of a word that fits right now for whatever reason. You guys probably thought of a word right away, but I'm simply mesmerized by this game. It's just good that Hope named himself what he did, because clearly he's a player who has a lot of belief. But MBL has him fully surrounded still. Knows if he'll ever escape. Snipes another trap. That was costly. And pretty soon, Hope's not even going to be able to take wood. Yeah. I would say there's no hope. I'm sure there's words. I'll get my thesaurus. You can all leave a different comment for a word that symbolizes no hope. And there is, whatever that word is, that's the situation that Hope is in right now. Again, this is MBL's point of view. This is what Hope can see. Hope's just thinking, well, he's not an imp yet. I also think in some ways it is possible, because I don't know Hope that well. I don't know his mindset. I know him as a fighter. I know him as a player who's getting better and better, but like, if you look and see 30 towers around, this is not what normally happens in Age of Empires these days. You might feel a little, like, flexed on. And I get that. Like, if a better player experiments a bit against you, I totally get that feeling. I've been on the other end of that a bunch. Honestly, without the towers, I think MBL would have had big problems. I think the towers genuinely helped. I mean, it's crazy how many he's built. And it's just going to take Hope so long to take them out, even if he can get Trebs. He's going to try and produce one more. But, like, now I think at this point, MBL could probably go imp. with his 120 army, right? But sometimes you're just in this state of mind. Like, MBL lost his only TC. He doesn't have a TC to go imp right now. He's just in a chaotic state of mind. And he knows my opponent can't have a lot left. Let's dive in. And he's going to go in with freaking everything to finish off this game. Hope is going to lose his castles next to longswords. Remember, Arson was researched earlier on in the game. This Treb is going to be picked off. Never mind the fact this castle is going to have 70 plus kills when this game ends. Doesn't matter. MBL has 70 plus units to throw away. The longswords will take the castle, the crossbows, and the Gebetto. Gebetto is actually fantastic against the Jags. They come in to just protect, and Hope repairs and repairs away, and he calls the GG, and it was very well played from both of them. This is an incredible game. Seriously, one of my favorite games that I've watched all year. It's tricky for me. There's so many good games these days. Oftentimes, I'm like, this is the best game of the year. It's still rather early in 2024. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I mean, tell me what you guys thought about this one. This is special, man. This is Age of Empires. Let's go. Infantry, archers, towers. I mean, MBL had 27 towers. The majority of them, actually, probably had more because I didn't zoom out the whole way. Yeah, 30 towers, 67 kills on those towers, but the majority of those towers, of course, were all around Hope's base. Even though Hope lost this game, though, I thought it was incredible. I'm going to tell you what I think Hope... There's only one period of time where I think I can look back. Well, there's two moments, actually, I think that could have been different for Hope. When he lost his Scorpions at one point, I think it would have been... Yeah, these 4 Scorpions soon after, I think he was just distracted, and he lost them all. Those Scorpions could have done a much better job here. They didn't really get the hits. He was in a good spot, I think. If he's got a castle and he's still got the Scorpions, that was a bit costly. But the other thing was he did have a fight with the Jags. Now, I am pro making Jags. I am pro making Jags and taking a fight and then regretting it later. That's fine. I just want to see the Jags. But there was a point where, like, he's massing Jags in Castle Age here. And then, yeah, I think this was it. Like, he just lost a bunch of them. And in that moment, I was thinking, at 113 Vils, does it make sense to maybe go Imp instead of move out there? But easier said than done, of course, as was everything in this game. But I wonder if he was an Imp an extra minute or two, maybe he could have denied these towers. If he denies these towers and is able to expand, I think he could have done it, guys. MBL wouldn't have taken those relics from him. MBL then probably has issues, you know, locking down his base. Gives Hope some opportunities to maybe sneak out to the right because MBL can focus there too, and maybe it changes the game. But it was a great game. Hope you guys like this. And as you could probably tell, took some time aside here to cast this one specifically for YouTube. I do the whole streaming thing, of course, but this is my goal, to have an extra YouTube-only cast, a couple a week if I can, as I'm doing an upload every day. But I want to find... I'm always keeping my eye out for the best individual games for you guys. Always doing my best to make sure the commentary is better. So I want to say thanks for the love and support. I did say earlier on, as I'm taking a small break with family this week, a bit of a weird one for me. I hope this... I don't think my dad's going to be watching this video, but my dad's actually turning 70 this week. And, you know, that's a big number, right? That's a big number. I'd never look at my parents and consider them old, right? Even though I consider myself old at 30 and soon to be 31. But, you know, I'm really looking forward to spend some time with my family and making some memories there. So I don't know everyone's situation, right? Last time I said this, there was someone who's like, well, T90, you're lucky to have your family. I'm in a bit of a different situation. But I do want to, because I know the average age of my audience, I know most of you guys are like, you know, 20 years old and up. And I know how I am, and life is busy. I want to just encourage you. You know, reach out, send a text, give your parents a call, tell them you love them. Or actually, no, guys, tell them about this video. Yeah, tell them about this video and tell them to like the video if they enjoyed it. Like the video, leave a comment. Should I hit the bell too? No. Actually, no, don't do that. They'll then know that you called them because of me and not because of you. So anyways, weird outro. I apologize. Very close game with the KD. Economically, MBL had so much more gold, but Hope was farming like a madman. Did a great job there. And if I can find more games like this, man, I'll be set. But it's going to be hard to find more games like this. I'll keep my eyes out. And as always, an upload every day. Thank you, everyone, for the support, and see you next time.